The Olympic Games have become a highly significant and widely celebrated event across the world. I mean, they've become a major event that people get super excited about. When we see athletes from our country proudly representing us in the Olympics, carrying our flag high, it fills us with an overwhelming sense of pride. It's like a burst of national pride that gets our hearts pumping and makes us cheer even louder. These days, the Olympics see the involvement of roughly 200 countries from all corners of the globe. It's pretty incredible to think how many nations come together to compete and showcase their talent at the Games. So, how did it all start? Way back in ancient Greece, the Olympics had their humble beginnings as part of their religious festival honoring the Greek god Zeus. They were held in a place called Olympia. This rural sanctuary site is located in the western part of Peloponnese region of Greece. The Greeks who gathered there for the Games shared the same religious beliefs and spoke the same language. It was a way for them to come together and celebrate their shared heritage. The ancient Greeks were passionate about sports, and they believed that physical fitness and competition were not only good for the body, but also for the spirit. What's fascinating is the athletes who participated in the ancient Olympics were all male citizens from different city-states across the Greek world. Can you believe it? They came from as far as Iberia in the west, which is present-day Spain, and the Black Sea in the east, which is now Turkey. The sanctuary itself was named after Mount Olympus, the highest mountain in mainland Greece. In Greek mythology, Mount Olympus was believed to be the dwelling place of the most powerful gods and goddesses. So it's no wonder they chose such a majestic name for the site where the Games took place. Let's take a journey back in time to the year 776 BC, when the ancient Olympic Games began. It all started with the foot race called Stadion Race, which covered a distance of 600 feet. The first winner of the game was Koroibos, an unlikely champion who was actually a cook from the nearby city of Elis. Quite an impressive feat, what do you say? The Stadion was a highly anticipated race that showcased the speed and agility of the athletes. However, as the popularity of the Games grew and more cities and states participated, organizers decided to introduce additional events to make the Olympics even more exciting. Over time, several disciplines were added to the lineup. One of them was the long jump, where athletes would sprint and then leap into a sand pit, measuring the distance covered. Another event that joined the roster was the discus throw. It tested the strength and skill of the competitors as they hurled a weighted discus as far as possible. The discus was a round object made of stone, iron, or bronze, and the throwers needed precision and power to achieve great distances. The pentathlon was another significant addition to the Games. It consisted of 5 different events: the stadion race, long jump, discus throw, javelin throw, and wrestling. The pentathlon was a true test of the athletes' all-around abilities and combat skills. From 776 BC onwards, the Olympics were held every 4 years in Olympia, and they continued for nearly 12 centuries. Although there is evidence that suggests the Games might have existed at Olympia even earlier than the official start date of 776 BC, some literary and archaeological findings hint that the Olympics may have been around as far back as the 10th or 9th century BC. Now, about the nudity at the ancient Olympic Games. There are a couple of stories that float around regarding this matter, and they add a bit of spice to the discussion. According to one story, it was said that a runner from Megara named Orsippus or Arphus unintentionally kicked off the whole naked running trend in the Stadion race. The tale goes that during a race in 720 BC, poor Orsippus lost his shorts along the way. Well, what's a guy to do in such a situation? He just kept on running in the buff. And that supposedly marked the first instance of nudity in the Games. Another story suggests it was actually the Spartans who introduced nudity to the Olympic Games. You see, in the 8th century BC, the Spartans had a tradition of competing in the nude. So it's quite possible that they brought their au naturel approach to the Games as well, making it the norm. The historical records aren't crystal clear on whether the first Olympic champions, Koroibos, who won the stadion race in 776 BC, wore shorts or not. It's a bit of a mystery. But what seems to be more certain is that as time went on, especially by the late 8th century, nudity became pretty common among male athletes. Nudity at the ancient Olympic Games is just one of those quirky aspects that adds a unique flavor to the stories and traditions surrounding the Games. It's intriguing to think about how the norms and customs of different city-states shape the nature of the competitions. After the ancient Games concluded in 393 AD, a staggering 1,503 years went by before the Olympics made a comeback. It wasn't until 1896 that the first modern Olympic Games were held in Athens, Greece. So, who do we have to thank for bringing back this legendary sporting event? Well, the credit goes to a Frenchman by the name of Baron Pierre de Coubertin. In 1894, he presented the idea of reviving the Olympics to the world. He had planned to unveil the modern games in 1900s in his hometown of Paris, keeping it all French and fancy. And delegates from a whopping 34 countries were so captivated by Coubertin's vision that they convinced him to move the Games up to 1896. Athens, the birthplace of the ancient Olympics, became the first host of the modern Games. The Games were quite different from what we have today. The first modern Olympic Games lasted for a total of 10 days. During those 10 days, athletes competed in a modest number of events compared to the vast array we have now. In the inaugural modern Olympics, there were a total of 9 sports featured. These included athletics, cycling, fencing, gymnastics, shooting, swimming, tennis, weightlifting, and wrestling. Can you imagine the excitement and anticipation surrounding that historical moment? After centuries of absence, the Olympics returned, igniting a new era of global sporting competition. It's truly a testament to the power of an idea and the passion that people from around the world shared for this grand event. Since that iconic revival in 1896, the Olympic Games have continued to capture the hearts and minds of athletes and spectators alike. The modern Olympic Games take place every 4 years, with the summer and winter editions taking turns. The event has grown in scale and popularity, showcasing the remarkable achievement of athletes from every corner of the globe. It's become a symbol of unity, sportsmanship, and friendly competition, bringing together nations in the spirit of camaraderie and mutual respect. Don't forget to watch our previous video on Sparta's gender roles, women and their special privileges. Just click the link in the description below. And hey, if you enjoyed the video, show us some love by giving it a thumbs up. Please hit that notification bell so you're always in the loop and never miss an episode. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, Discover Ancient Civilizations, so you can keep exploring the interesting world of history. There's always more to learn and more fascinating stories to uncover. We'll catch up with you soon.